Uh-huh.
Yeah. And like you remember that like movie, I saw like this like door forward thing would have like this door blue black looking thing with like dark blue.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
What is up, all you freaks out there? This is Ryan, and I am flying solo tonight. My lovely co-hosts are not feeling good, and Angie is taking care of RJ. So I'm going to be flying solo tonight. I do have Sarah in the chat. I think taking a sip of my my tea here out of my Freakin' Awesome Paranormal Show mug, which is very cool, from GI Designs. My friend Jason Gray makes these different mugs for different teams. Howie from the Orion Effect podcast and the Rift Nation Network has got a mug from them, and then he's done one for Fredericksburg Paranormal Research and Investigators, and yeah. So if you're in a market for a mug, they can make an Odd Virginia mug too. Contact Jason Gray. He does a great job. Well, tonight is a very special night because we're bringing back Odd Virginia. We had a fun conversation with them last time they came on, and so I'm excited about having them back on the show to talk some weird stuff about the state of Virginia. But first, we got to talk about what day it is. And it is, well, it's National Tea Day, so I'll drink to that. I am drinking Sleepy Time melatonin tea to calm my ass down, because usually when I do the show, I get super hyped up and then I can't sleep for like hours after this. So I drink some melatonin tea. So when the show's over, I can just relax, watch some TV, and then probably pass out about around midnight or so. It's National Talk Like Yoda Day as well. I know that's a big holiday for all you Star Wars fans. If all you people who like to see Chris Panchero, thank you, Chris. He is drinking iced tea. There you go. Chris is getting into the holiday spirit. Get into holiday spirit you are. That's about as Yoda talking as I'm going to get. It's talk like, so it is National Talk Like Yoda Day. And if I seem a little distracted, RJ's right over here playing with his toys. And it is also, which is very unfortunate, it's also the end of the world. And I was just as surprised as you are to learn that today is the end of the world, but at least you're spending it on the Freakin' Awesome Paranormal Show. And what a better way to spend the end of the world. Oh, whew. Strong tea. There she is. There's Sarah. Good for her to join us at the end of the world. I was expecting it to be like just a normal day. But I looked up. What day is today? May 28th. It's the end of the world as we know it, and I feel fine because I'm drinking my tea on Talk Like You today. So we've got some stuff coming up this weekend, some fun events coming up. Oh, we would have if it wasn't the end of the world today. We would have had some fun events coming up this weekend. First, I gotta say, get well to Rhonda and Sarah. They're not. It's my birthday eve. Oh shoot! It's Bill's birthday eve. Happy birthday! Hope we're still around tomorrow for you to celebrate it, because it is the end of the world. But if it's wrong, and when is the internet ever wrong? We will have to give you a birthday shout out tomorrow. No, it's just a holiday. I got RJ scared over here. It's not the end of the world. No, it's just a holiday, weird holiday, but so that's really cool. Your birthday's at the end of the world. Here we go. Let's see. Sage Paracon is this weekend at Bell Grove Plantation. That's gonna be a lot of fun. If you're in the area, go check them out. They got a lot of cool guests coming out there. God, I think MJ Dixon's gonna be there. Rhonda is going to be there, so you get to talk to her. All the folks from Fredericksburg, paranormal researchers and investigations are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then my group is going to be placing flags at Evergreen and Woodland cemeteries this coming weekend for Memorial Day. So if you're bored and you're in the area and you want to give back and you want to do something to thank the troops or thank soldiers who have passed on, we have 2 cemeteries we're going to go to. Woodland. Woodland were 9 o'clock, which is the smaller of the cemeteries. A lot more open, a lot more. The graves, the markers are a lot easier to find than Evergreen, because Evergreen is huge and it's way more neglected than Woodland. So it's very wooded, and since it's May, it's a lot more overgrown than Woodland End, because they don't have the volunteer out there. At least I don't think they did. They don't have. It was very overgrown last year when I was there, and have not gone back to check it out. So hopefully, maybe it's a lot better than it was last year, because I was walking around in like weeds, kudzu up to my almost up to my waist, and it's not very contingent on trying to find grave markers. And so it's a fun experience. You get to you get to give back, and you get to it's a way of saying thank you to those who lost their lives serving our country. So I'm excited about that. On June 1st, we've got an paranormal investigation at Henricus Historical Park. We still have tickets available for that. So again, this is the second established settlement in Virginia. So there is like 400 years worth of history on this land, and it is incredibly haunted. I've gotten so much good evidence, so many good captures out there, and it's a great place. Living History Museum. So if you come out for the investigation and come back some other weekend or the next day, if you want, come out and support the people out there, because they do a great job. You've got an Indian village there. They've got different buildings and like a fort set up there, and have different interpreters throughout the park and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. We had John Pagano from Henricus come on the show at the beginning of the year to talk about different hauntings that have happened out there. And then we had another show with Sarah, and where we talked about the beginnings, the beginnings of Henricus, and like how Jamestown almost didn't make it. And it was kind of touch and go there for a while. Very interesting stories that led to the very beginning of our country. There was a lot that could have happened, that could have gone either way. And if it gone one way, we wouldn't be here right now, or it would be someone completely different. You could be talking a completely different language if it had gone a different way. So it's really cool to think about that kind of stuff, how close we came to, not being here. So I mean, I'm used to talking this much. I used to do this show by myself all the time, but I've forgotten how to do it. I'm so used to having, a co-host with me. So yeah, that's it. I'm not gonna do the shout out. I'll do a shout out to Sage Paracon tonight.
Something else is happening June 1st.
What's happening June 1st? Oh, Kimmy's graduation. Yeah, Kimmy's graduating on June 1st. There you go. Yeah, Andrew reminded me of Kimmy's graduation's on June 1st too. So we got a lot of stuff going on in June. Plus, it's as Angie's birthday month. So, and then Rihanna was born in June too. So I'm gonna get everything out for June. That's it. And for Father's Day, the most important holiday there is in June. And Angie gave me a bad look. Oh God, what's happened June 6th? June 1st is Sarah's birthday. Well, there you go. As Howie says, June 16th.
It's the best day ever.
That is that's Father's Day, right? And again, Angie's giving me a dirty look. It's Angie's birthday. Next year. This year it's Father's Day. June 20th is Rihanna's birthday. So anybody else have any June things going on? Oh, and we've got June 14th and 15th. We've got Haunted Nights at the Cabin on 360 with the Wraith Chasers. So that's going to be fun. Excited to see them at the Cabin. So tonight we are talking to the Odd Virginia podcast. Sarah says, hi, Angie.
Hey.
She says, oh, hey. And got a lot going on over here. So I'm going to go ahead and put Bill on the show. What is up, brother?
How are you?
How are you doing?
Oh, doing great, man. How have you been?
Man, I'm hanging in there. Just trying to, get through life every day. You know how it is.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. I'm sorry that everyone's feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, it's Sarah had some stuff going on, and then Mrs. Rhonda, and she was like, I had to go to get a Z-Pack for my doctor because I woke up feeling like crap.
Oh no!
I was like, oh well, shit. And she's got the that Paracon this weekend up at Bell Grove Plantation, and that she's got to be feeling better by Saturday. So we've got Sarah in the chat. I told her, if you can't make it, just come on, ask questions in the chat, and we can do it that way. So she'll be doing it. She's kind of virtually asking questions here. So it'll be fine. How was everything going in your neck of the woods?
Oh, pretty good. I spent the weekend in DC trying to celebrate a little bit of birthdayness and all that fun stuff, and
Cool.
got to see the
Happy
King Tut
birthday.
exhibit, which was amazing. Thanks, man. I really appreciate it.
Man.
It's not a great birthday. It's the 40, so I don't feel
Oh.
like I'm 40, except for my feet and my knees after all the walking in DC.
That's the first to go.
Oh my gosh, I'm just dying, and the hairline is getting thinner. So as I'm looking at this unflattering camera angle I set up for myself.
You still look good. That's fine. You used to be 40. Used to be like the big age. I remember going home for my dad's 40th birthday party, and it was like over the hill. There were like grave markers, and they were on the balloons and stuff. There was all black, like death. And now 40, doesn't seem as bad as it used to feel. I don't know, because of the life.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I don't know if it's because of it's the life expectancy is longer than before, or just people just live differently than they did back. I would say back then, they're gone or whatever, but people just doing a lot more stuff and going out and doing a lot more stuff and just living different lives than they did back in the day.
Yeah, I feel like it's not so much the age, it's the mileage catching with me a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Sarah. But you know, I feel pretty good, pretty solid. I've had some heel issues in my life, so I think that's just the main of it. It's just all the walking around and everything on uneven,
Hmm.
broken up sidewalks in DC.
Oh God,
Just kind of
yeah,
just wore me out a bit.
yeah. It's I went out there with Angie and RJ a few years ago for Angie's job or something, and yeah, I can see how walking around that place for a long period of time would mess you up a little bit.
Oh man. But honest to God, if anyone gets the chance, there's a King Tut exhibit that's going on, I believe, going on through July, at the Rhode Island Washington Art Center. It's like 43 bucks all in taxes and all that stuff. Uh, but it's over 1,000 items that they recovered through the Carter expedition and other expeditions of King Tut's tomb. So they've got his sarcophagus, they've got his chariot, there's some stuff that's replicas, like they had a replica of the Rosetta Stone and stuff because that's in England and stuff like that.
Hmm.
The first half of it is all replica stuff, and you watch some little movie, and you do like this little walkthrough thing, and animatronics and lights and stuff like that pop up and kind of make you feel like you're seeing stuff for the first time, like the Carter expedition did a little bit. And then you walk through, and all of a sudden everything's well lit, and it's like everything. And it's like all this crazy stuff made of wood that's covered in like leaf gold and everything. But it was absolutely amazing. Um, but it's worth the money. 43 bucks all day long to see everything King Tut. It was so cool.
It's cool, so cool that we're able to experience that kind of stuff, you know.
Oh
And
yeah, what, like over 3,000 years old. Like so cool.
they've got at the Virginia Museum of Fine Arts in Richmond. They've got some Egyptian stuff like a sarcophagus there. Um, and they had those clay soldiers. They used to the soldiers from
Terracotta soldiers.
China. Yeah, terracotta soldiers
Mhm.
there as well,
Oh man,
which
I
is
would
which
I'd love
was
to see that.
which was pretty cool. I like going to check out music. I love history. I'm very nostalgic. Like I love going places. I love seeing like old buildings. I mean, I'm the kind of person who likes to look at old like shopping centers and like, oh, this used to be here, this used to be there, and trying to
Yeah.
dig into that kind of history.
Oh man, no, you and me need to go check out some architecture around DC and
Hmm.
show you weird stuff here around Harrisonburg sometime. There's a bunch of cool stuff.
Oh
I
man,
was
that'd be
thinking of moving to
awesome.
that museum. Oh man, no, and that's the great thing about DC. The only thing that stinks about this past weekend, besides the rain, was apparently there was a ton of college graduations. So Saturday was pretty easy, but man, Sunday was a nightmare. That was horrible. But man, got to eat at some of my classical haunts and the classics Ben Chili Bowl, Rarin on 7th Street, best Asian dumplings you ever have, soup dumplings, fried dumplings, everything. Oh my gosh. And then went to this place called Tipsy Spoonfuls, which is this new place that just opened up off of 7th. It's alcoholic ice cream. Yeah, no, Ed, I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia. I was in DC for King Tut and everything, but I'm in Harrisonburg, Virginia.
What
But
kind of
oh
ice
my
cream
god,
was it?
it was alcoholic. So
Oh,
like it all like they have non-alcoholic ice cream for people that like bring their kids with them, or people that just are
well,
teetoters.
the people who bring their kids might need the alcoholic ice cream.
It doesn't hurt.
You never know. Depends.
But I had like the Sakura old fashioned, so it was like it was cherry blossom flavored with some Japanese whiskey, and it was like 10%. Yeah, I know Folks Run. I grew up not far away from Folks Run in a little area called Singer's Glen and Coots Store. Lots of weird, creepy stuff. I actually saw a Black Panther. We should talk about. Oh man! All right, let's get into like the
Let's
meat and
get
potatoes
into the
of
stories.
Odd Virginia. All right, so we're probably looking year of our Lord 2003, probably like 2003, 2004. Oh yeah, no alcohol ice cream, Sarah, it was amazing. Um, but I was living at a house in Broadway, near Coots Store in Singers Glen. Uh,
Hmm.
but I was living there. My dad had moved out, and I was living at the old family house. And one
Real
night, I
quick,
heard
ask you a
all this.
question.
Yeah,
Real quick, do you know Josh Hale?
I don't think so, but I'm also horrible with names.
My cousin Josh lives out there. He lived on Broad. He lives out in Broadway.
Oh, I mean, I went to Broadway. I graduated from Broadway 2002, but I've been in the Broadway area. Well, now I'm in Harrisonburg, which is like Harrisonburg's
He
the
went to
closest
Broad.
city, but like,
He went to, I think we
yeah.
went to Broadway High School. So I went to his graduation, but it was a long. It was a year before I graduated. I graduated in '96, so it was a
Well,
while
that's
ago.
not horribly. They would have what? So you said his was the year before your graduation?
Yeah, one or 2 years
Okay.
before mine.
Yeah. So my freshman year at Broadway was '98. So we just two ships that kind of passed in the night, not too
Yeah, I'm
far
sorry.
from
I
each
didn't mean to
other.
interrupt you. I was just thinking about that.
No, but yeah, was it? I live at the address is Broadway, but like we're like Singers Glen and Coop Stores, like the area. And I went to Broadway High School, but it was like this house, 7 acres of woods, and one night there was this huge oak tree that was up by the corner of the house, and I had cats. I had a bunch of cats that were like outside cats, and the one cat had kittens, so there was a few of them. They were about like a year old, and I heard all this noise, and the tree. My bedroom was like the main floor, but like it's one of those ones where it was like the part of the house had a submerged basement, but then it had a walkout basement. So my bedroom was on the second floor, but it was just the ground floor. But it was like I don't know, maybe like bedroom windows probably like 15, 20 feet in the air. Yeah, like 15 feet. And so I hear all this weird noise, and I like flip on the floodlight, and I look out my bedroom window, and all the cats are on a branch up in the tree, and they're all like on their, like claws dug into the branches, hair sticking up, tail sticking up, everything. I'm like, what in the world is going on? And like I said, 7 acres of woods out in the middle of nowhere, not like Broadway town proper, but like out in the county. And I run to the front porch, and I flip on the porch lights and all the outside lights, and I couldn't figure out what was going on. And all of a sudden, like real low to the ground, because we had like a light on like a telephone pole on the one part of the driveway that was behind the house to light up where you'd pull up to get out of the house. Get out of the car and go into the house and everything. And so it hit the main driveway, but the house kind of blocked part of it. So there's some light shining down in around the living room area, down towards the front yard. And so I'm on the front porch and like trying to see what's going on. And like right at the edge of the light line, walking like real low to the ground, is this big black figure, super low to the ground. So it wasn't a bear. It was too long, and I could see it had a tail, and I could just hear it breathing, like really deep, heavy breathing, panting, just going right along the light edge, to where it went into in the shadows, where it went into the woods and everything. And oh my god, man! I just even talking about it right now, I got the hair standing up on my arms. But it was 100% a black panther. Called my dad, or a puma, or whatever you want to call it, black mountain lion, uh, but a big black cat. And I called my dad, the next day, and my dad, oh, you're crazy, you're crazy. And I remember me and you remember the show Monster Quest
Oh
on
yeah,
Free Channel? Oh my god, love that show. And we were looking uh, at me and a buddy of mine was watching it, sipping on some whiskey one day, and all of a sudden they start talking about black cats. I'm telling him, like, he's like, "Oh man, that's cool," and like we're watching everything, and I hadn't thought about it. It is probably like 5 years later, and then it's like, and now from the eastern part of the United States, in Franklin, West Virginia, which is like 45 minutes over the mountain away from where I live, is like this big black cat in Franklin, West Virginia. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy. And told my dad and everything like that. And he's like, "Oh, you're just crazy. You saw a bear. You saw a bear." But man, there was no bear, dude. It was creepy.
yeah. You can tell the difference between a cat and a bear. Pretty
It was
pretty easily.
long, man. It was it
Yeah.
was it was longer than any dog I'd ever seen. I mean, if you like watch like the old Tarzan movies and stuff, and they had panthers and stuff like that, like it was like the right size. I'd say it was probably main body was probably like 6 foot long, and then it was dark, so I couldn't really see, but I could tell that it had like a elongated tail. But just the body. Oh yeah, Southern Maryland. What part of Maryland? Before I moved to Virginia, I was in just outside of Lothian, Maryland, and then I have a lot of family that lived in Montgomery County. But
That's that's amazing because you never think about big cats being around here. I mean, like I know they are, but it's just something that really comes to mind. If I go hiking in the woods, I'm not worried about seeing a mountain lion.
oh, you should be.
But well,
You
I am now,
100% should be. It's so
especially a
weird.
black one too. Usually they're got that tan color to them.
Yeah. Big cats freak me out, man, because like you're not like big cats and snakes are the two things that is just like, oh, okay, Mordorf. Oh yeah. But man, big cats freak me out. The idea of big cats, I've seen bobcats, and those aren't huge, but their roar just freaks you out.
I was watching this video of it was actually today of this guy. It was like the creepiest camping encounters or creepiest encounters in the woods or whatever. And this guy was walking, just hiking down this road, regular gravel road, wasn't even like on a trail. It was like a dirt road. And he comes across what he thought was a bobcat. He gets a little closer and realizes that it's a mountain lion cub. Mountain lion cub goes down the road. Soon the mom comes up the road.
Mm-hmm.
So, and the mom starts following the guy, right? So he's walking backwards, trying to yell at it, make huge, big noises to scare it off. And the cat, it keeps coming, and he's walking backwards and trying to scream, trying to scare it away. It just keeps coming. He turns to try to run, and then turns right back around, and the mountain lion is charging at him. And the mountain lion stops as soon as he turns around. It's like that, the Mario Brother game with the boo.
Yeah.
You walk, and if you turn around, it starts coming, but you turn back around, it stops. It was like that. Finally, after about 6 minutes of him walking backwards and the mountain lion and getting progressively closer, and then stopping and then starting back up again, he picks up a big rock and throws it at him, or against her, and scares her away, and she runs down the road. But I mean, it's tense, man. It's scary because if you don't know what to do, you try to outrun a mountain lion. Probably not going to work too well.
Oh my God, man! No, I don't go in the woods without a sidearm with me. Between snakes and so the game wardens are now saying that there's no mountain lions. There's no mountain lions in the area. There's no mountain lions in the area. There's no black panthers or black puma or whatever you want to call them either. You're just crazy, yada yada this, yada yada that, and everything. But if you're out there and you see one, don't shoot it because they're endangered. And they have warnings. They have warnings posters up at all the stations too, saying for George Washington National Forest that there's potential sightings of mountain lions. But then when you talk to them, like, there's no mountain lions.
You can just tell them. We'll be like, I'm endangered too. If I die, there's no more me. So
yeah. Oh no, yeah, no. If it comes, like, I'm not looking to try to hurt no animal, but like if it comes down to me or them, it's going to be me every time. Like, it was like It's Always Sunny. Like, so if you the Always Sunny meme is like, if you say that if someone tried to take your cat, someone was trying to steal your cat and you'd shoot them if they tried to take your cat, that means your cat was more important than a human life. And then it's like the photo of Frank from It's Always Sunny. So anyway, I started blasting. But yeah, no, forget that. But no, I have property in West Virginia that we kind of talked about last time, and a guy that I know that's maybe a mile and a half away from my property has had mountain lions on his cameras. So I'm good. I go in there. I go in the woods with 357 Magnum. Every other round is either snake shot and then critical defense loads because you don't know what you're going to bump into. I don't have to worry about people. I'm out in the middle of nowhere, but sometimes you bump into things that
I
are
mean,
worse.
I don't know, man. Like watching some of those creepy encounters in the woods. There can be, you can run into some crazy people in the woods, and
Oh
it's
yeah,
also it's good to have some protection when either we're dealing with animals or what you can run into out there. You know,
yeah. No, yeah, you got to be. I mean, I'm lucky. I've got 250 acres of old family land in West Virginia. Yeah, you got to look out for the danger noodles. That's for sure. That's what the snake shots for. But I got 250 acres in West Virginia, and then the property beside it's my old family farm is 250 acres. That I know the people that hunt on that property, and then property beneath us for the longest time was my cousin, and now it's some people that bought it from them. But I'm pretty lucky that I've got enough elbow room that I don't have to worry about people trespassing too much. So, but
that's awesome.
you got to be safe.
Good to have. It's good to have some space to stretch out.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know what happened to Alex today. I thought he was joining us. I talked to him earlier today, and I've messaged him a couple times. So sorry if you see me
Hey,
look at
you know
my.
what? We they got shit going on. Like Sarah's not feeling good. Maybe she's not feeling good. Rhonda's not feeling good. So we're just gonna have a conversation, just you and me.
Yeah, brother. No, absolutely. So here I've got another great story. A
Mm.
great weird Virginia story. It's funny because I was watching a documentary when this popped up, and I was like, "What?" And so I messaged Alex. I'm like, "Have you heard about this?" He goes, "No." I said, "I'm doing it on the podcast. I'll talk about it on the Freaking Awesome podcast." So this is a very very apparently old story that I just never knew about, but a breaking hot odd Virginia story
Breaking
for you
news here
guys.
on the Freaking Awesome
Yeah.
Paranormal Show. There we go.
So in 1755, Colonel George Washington, you might have heard of him before, was looking at the Northern Virginia and Maryland territories on how to defend ourselves better during the French and Indian War. Sorry, I'm looking like I'm looking up to God. My big monitor is my top monitor, but if I do that, all it is staring at the top of my head if I put the camera up there, so my camera is below my monitor. So I promise I'm talking to you, but I'm also looking at the video, so I'm looking up, so that's why it looks a little weird. I should do like the Ray Charles with sunglasses so you can't tell. Um, but so in 1755, he was looking at assessing the oh man, I've camped out at Slate Lake many times. Ed, definitely hit me up on Facebook, Bill DeGallo, on Facebook. Just track me down, shoot me a message, man. I'm a huge camping junkie. I used to help run a video game and music festival, and so I've got more gear than I'll ever need for camping. I can play Camp Cook. I can't hike worth a crap because of my heels, but I'll play Camp Cook and listen to stuff from the campsite anytime,
That
especially at
sounds like
Slate
fun.
Lake. Oh my God, Slate Lake's beautiful. I used to actually go hunting up there when I was a kid. But so in 1755, he was looking, and he wanted something to bridge the gap between Cumberland, Maryland, and Northern Virginia, the mouth of the Shenandoah Valley. And so there was a bunch of like um, smaller forts, auxiliary forts along the way coming down towards the valley, but they were all smaller encampments. He wanted to have a major fort, like another, like, kind of like make a gate to the valley. So we're talking to sorry, uh, talking to his higher ups and everything. They decided that they were going to try to build one around the Winchester area, which was a smaller area at the time and everything like that. And he presented the plan, and the House of Burgesses appropriated 1,000 British pounds to build the construction of this new fort that they were going to name after the commander uh, of New Virginia, uh, army for the British, and name it Loudon because he was the Marquis of Loudon. And so they did that, and so they were scouting out places in Winchester, the Winchester area to do it, and they found a spot that they deemed was going to be a good place for them, because the French and Indian war, the Shenandoah Valley was actually getting hammered because they were coming down from Ohio, the French fur trappers in Ohio and going northern into Canada, and then the Indians, the Creek Indians, were coming down, and they were bombarding like the northwestern part of the valley a ton, and they were hitting us really really hard. So that's why the Virginia General Assembly and the House of Burgesses came up with 1,000 British pounds for the construction of a new fort to help go to it. And it was going to be a 5-acre tract of land about 200 yards north of town center at the time of Winchester. So they started doing excavating the land to level everything out to start construction of the fort. And they came across in the center of where they were wanting to do this, they came across what turned out to be a burial mound, a Native American, they believed, burial mound. Now, what's very interesting about this is during the 1750s, your average male height was around 5'6".
Mm-hmm.
These skeletons, which were a very blatant ancient Indian, Native American, American Indian, however you want to pronounce the most politically correct way of doing it, burial mound. These skeletons were 7 foot tall, some of them in excess of 7 feet. Large tools, clothing, artifacts that were in with it, and everything like that. And apparently, Washington wrote about it to other people and everything like this. Now, the thing that's interesting is that there's two sides of the story. Just like any good story. One is no one knows what happened with the skeletons. We don't know what happened to them. Then you got the people saying like Smithsonian stole them and all this stuff, like the ones out in New Mexico and all this fun stuff too. But no, there's no set in stone on what happened to these 7 foot tall skeletons, but they were just like these giant skeletons. The other side of this coin is there's a road in Winchester, Virginia, and it's called Indian Alley. Which is right near Back to the Media. This awesome, I'm wearing the shirt. Back to the Media is this amazing vinyl record, video game, and comic book store. If they served liquor and had food, I'd just move in. It's an amazing spot. But if you're in Winchester, check out Back to the Media. Mark and Danny are great people. They're like family, and I got a huge record collection over here because of that. But so Indian Alley runs kind of through right along, like parallel to the Walking Mall, and at the corner of Indian Alley and Piccadilly, they believe is where they had rediscovered these skeletons. So they think that there's a story that's where they were stashed at, and that's why it's called Indian Alley. And in the early to mid 1800s, when they were making the roads through Winchester and everything, they rediscovered them at the corner of Indian Alley and Piccadilly in Winchester. This was in Virginia. Yeah, it was in Winchester, Virginia. Indian Alley and Piccadilly, or the street corners. If you guys have not been to Winchester, go. It's so fun. There's the Apple Blossom Festival. But they have a walking mall like Charlottesville, not as big as the Charlottesville Mall. There's a Civil War museum there. There's a Revolutionary War there where George Washington had his headquarters during the Revolutionary War. It's still standing. There's a lot of really old buildings. There's been stories of a lot of ghosts on the walking mall. Mark and Danny at Back to the Media swear their basement at their storefront is haunted. I keep trying to figure out a time where we can all try to get up there and try to do a little ghost investigation, but just times haven't worked out just yet.
We can do an ASPS investigation.
Yeah, man, that'd be
there.
awesome, dude. And Danny loves anything paranormal. Like, really, Ryan, you should reach out to him. Mark and Danny Knowles on my friend list. And like I said, they're back to the media. It's a great record shop, but they swear their basement's haunted. But
Yeah.
it's a neat place. But downtown Walking Mall is great. Tons of food, lots of good places, shops, and everything like that. But yeah, like I was watching this thing about just giants in America, and like the last like 30 minutes was all about the Loudoun County Fort, the history of the fort. I just kind of gave the cliff notes, and the meat and potatoes is George Washington discovered skeletons of giants. Now you think giants sometimes like 10, 12 foot tall, like some of the ones that might have been found out in New
Yeah.
Mexico and stuff like that, but like 7 foot tall in the Americas, that's pretty damn tall. Like the tallest people that were really seen in the Americas, uh, pre, when you're looking like pre-Columbian and like pre-Jamestown and stuff like that, and mounds and stuff like that, some of the Creek Indians got to about 6 foot.
Yeah.
So and that was they were considered haphazard giants, but like 7, 8 foot tall, like that's bigger. That's Andre the Giant. That's bigger than Andre the Giant.
You go to old farmhouses around Virginia or anywhere, and you'll notice that like everything is really short. Like this, like my grandparents have a farmhouse on the Chesapeake Bay, and it was an old like the house itself was built. The old house was built like the late 1800s, early 1900s, and like the ceiling, the doors are really small. I have to duck down to get through them. The staircases are really narrow. So having that height and that build, finding skeletons that are 7 feet tall, it would be considered. Of course, George Washington was pretty big too, but he wasn't 7 feet.
No.
No.
But
And that,
no,
that
it
was
just
if it's in having one 7 foot tall skeleton is one thing. That's an anomaly. But if there are a bunch of them, buried in the mound, I was wondering like I guess there's no way of knowing like what tribe it was. If it was like
the I want to go up to the Fort Loudon Museum because apparently they're really good about it. They're not like, oh, that's BS or anything like that. They're like, no, that's oh yeah, no, me too, Sarah. There's especially in like North and South America, up and down North and South America, there are stories of red-haired, pale-skinned giants with double rows of teeth in almost every native culture history. That's
Mhm.
why they were so accepting of Cortez when he came to South America, um, is because they believed their gods were light-skinned, red-haired people. And then Cortez shows up with red hair and he's white, and they're like, "Oh, dude, it's our gods coming back." And then they found out too late that was what was going on. Was
Yeah,
not the
not so
gods
much.
returning and just a horrible person. But like then the
Yeah.
caves, like we were talking about in New Mexico, the burial mounds in Ohio, they've in some of the mounds they found in Ohio have had a 7, 8, 10 foot tall skeletons. Um, there's another place here in Virginia, in Elkton, Virginia, just east. Have I seen giants on the mountains? Do you mean the more recent ones, where like they were on like the snow covered mountains? I saw something about that uh, recently. It was hard to tell with the quality of the footage, but it was very interesting.
That's pretty cool, John. Steven says he can give a presentation on giants.
Oh man, I'd love to listen to it. I can't get enough.
That'd be awesome.
Me and a buddy of mine, Daniel Reedy, we do a lot of deep dives on the Giants and everything like that. Which, like I was saying, is there's a place here in Elkton, uh, well, near Harrisonburg. It's just east of Harrisonburg, past Massanutten Resort, Elkton, and there's a large. When you go to the outskirts of Elkton, it becomes a mountain face and starts going up. for this, and at the top of it's what Skyline Drive runs across and everything like that. But at the bottom, it comes down and it's like a little valley, and then there's like a mound, and it's called Giant's Grave. And it's been called
Hmm.
that forever, and like no one's lidar'd it. But it's the main road through it's even called Giant's Grave Road. But it's called Giant's Grave. It looks, when you look at it on a topographical map, it's not, all of the other peaks around it are very, very steep and like quickly elevate. Where this one, when you look at the topographical map, it's nice and contoured and a happy big old fat mound that would be the size of like a place where you could bury a few giants. So who knows? They've never lidar'd it or anything. And that's not the part of Elkton you go if you don't know anyone back there, because it gets dicey. Back in them hollers, you might not make it back out. But I would give anything to like find some of that like with lidar technology and ping that. And then there's another one called Cooper's Mountain that they call Giant's Grave also, because when the people first came to the area, they just said it looked like a giant's grave, but there's no history on it other than that. But there's a little bit of history in Elkton, and there's a lot of natives around here, Cherokee, and I can't remember the other group of people that were in this area, but had some stories of giants going way, 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 way back that are really interesting too. But no, I could sit around and listen to someone talk about giants all day, any day. John, you should hit me up. I'd love to hear what you know. Maybe work on something together about giants of Virginia for Odd Virginia.
I wonder if maybe like some of the giants didn't really go away and they would ended up in the mountains and became like what people might consider Bigfoot, but they're more feral and just kind of live in the
Well,
mountains.
it's entirely possible. There's also lots of stories of, besides of Bigfoot, there are mounds everywhere in the shit. Oh yeah, yeah. No, so many of them are burial mounds, and unfortunately, when the Shenandoah Valley was one of those really early pieces of wilderness that got touched before people started really having an appropriate respect for Native American history, culture, and especially their like burial mounds, sacred grounds, and stuff like that. They've gotten really good about finding, if they find something now, but then they also don't want to start investigating stuff too much, because then it's like, yeah, there's a building built here. We're not going to tear it down. We're not going to give up control of this or that or anything. So as much as many excavations of stuff in Virginia happens, you get really great colonial ones like on the eastern part of the
Mhm.
state. But when you come western, if it's pre-Civil War, it just doesn't seem like it gets hit on as much. In the valley, it's very Civil War centric. I mean, which we were the breadbasket of the Civil War. A lot of battles were fought in the Shenandoah Valley and everything like that too. So I mean, that's the most recent scar. You know what I mean? I guess is the best way
Yeah,
of putting it. So it's the most familiar. Um, but I'd love to get a more serious thing and start trying to look at some of these things and see what's going on. But what you were talking about, um, there's a lot of stories other than wood booger, Bigfoot, whatever skunk ape, man of the mountain. Uh, but Man of the Mountain had two backgrounds. One was Old Man of the Mountain was Sasquatch, but there's a lot of stories of feral people, that were in the mountains. There's stories of feral people being in the mountains going back to the Cherokee, which some people have referred to as giants. Some people have referred to as Cherokee Sasquatch, and some people have referred to as people that were here in the valley before the Cherokee migrated from coming across the land bridge and stuff like that, and was part of an ancient civilization. Um, the Oh man, I wish I had all the I was having a very in-depth conversation about this like 2 weeks ago, and I wish I had all my notes with me because I didn't think it would even go this way. Um, the Cherokee Moon people. It is
They're, I mean,
absolutely
Sean,
insane. Um, the Cherokee Moon people were tall, Caucasian, light-haired people that spoke with a strange language and wore strange hides that arrows couldn't penetrate. And when some of the early uh, people first started coming to Virginia and heard of these and would go out with some of the people that had made friendly with the Cherokee, because Cherokee weren't a wild group. We got the settlers got along fairly well with the Cherokee for the most part, and a Welsh priest, had came over with some of the settlers, and they're doing their thing, trying to convert the Native Americans to Catholicism or Protestant. Yeah, no, Catholicism, because it was a priest.
Mhm.
Um, and they went out and were them and some of the people were doing a hunting party, and they were traveling with the Cherokee, and they said, "You all need to stay close. There's the Moon people, and they're very dangerous, and they have hides that our arrows can't penetrate." And they stumbled across some, and the priest loses his mind and can't believe what he's hearing, because the strange language that the Moon people are talking is Welsh. It was Welsh, and they were wearing armor, like metal armor, with
Yeah.
light skin and light hair, and they were speaking Welsh. And they just freaked out. And he's like, "This what is this?" And like, I wish I had the links with me. It was just is a story I was reading into and everything. But look up the Cherokee Moon people, stories of the Cherokee
So
stories of the
did
Moon
they not
people.
know that there are Welsh people there, or was it
No, no,
like, oh, okay,
these were tribes that had been in the Americas for hundreds of years, generations.
oh,
Uh, yeah, so these weren't people that came over with the settlers. Some
so
people think they were Knight Templar, but they were incredibly in size, like 7, 8 foot tall. So some people think they were like
I
giants
mean,
that came across from Europe. Like I don't know. It was just a
they would have
really
had to
cool
bring
story.
like women and everything, for them to, or unless they got there and then they started, maybe mating with the natives there,
It's
and
entirely possible. Like I said, the Creeks were known to be very, very large, because like most native men were like under 6 foot, where like the Creeks were like 6, 6, 6. Tops
Mhm.
was found in some things, so it's anything's possible. But it's just like one of those crazy like one off, because a lot of the native stories across North America and South America were that the giants were like 8, 9, 10 foot tall, even taller, but they had the red hair, the fair skin, and the 2 rows of teeth, um, and they were cannibals. And a lot of them were, at least out west, a lot of them were troglodytes. They lived in caves and stuff like that. Like the caves they found in New Mexico, that was the story was is that the natives they rose up to try to fight them and chase them into the caves, and then created a great fire at the entrance of the cave to like try to keep them from being able to escape. And the heat caused the cave to cave in, and then there was like an earthquake, and it caved in even more, and then that's why they found so many of the giant skeletons out there that are supposedly in the Smithsonian Museum under lock and key, not on display.
yeah, unfortunately, there's a lot of stuff in the Smithsonian Museum that's under lock and key and never going to be on display. So,
Yeah.
you know, so why do you think it's important for you to collect these stories and let people know about uh this weird stuff that happens in Virginia?
Couple reasons. One, the oldest form of communication is verbal storytelling. Before there was any crazy handwritten stories, before the stories of Gilgamesh and Samaria and everything like that, some of the original stories that are written and everything like that, everything was handed down person to person, family to family and stuff like that. So I'm also a huge history buff, and I'm a child of the 90s, so X-Files just made me a question everything when I was a kid. And they covered so many different things. They even did a couple episodes on feral people, a couple times on there too. Um, but there's a lot where the world just doesn't care about the past anymore,
Mhm.
and stories get lost, and like stories get forgotten. Just like I was saying, like, I saw the Black Panther as a one-off thing, and I never really thought about it a whole lot more until I heard the Monster Quest and everything like that. The story that would pop up every once in a while and everything like that. But if you don't even tell the stories yourself, there's
Yeah.
no, people's minds change and get altered and degrade and everything like that. And a lot of these stories just disappear. I grew up sitting at my great aunt Lynn's feet while she knitted linens for lepers, uh, telling me stories about up on the property in West Virginia, and just hearing the stories, and like I could tell you stories forever and like not run out of stories from Lost River area and West Virginia, just all the stories I soaked up as a kid. And what stinks is it's not one of those things where I had like a tape recorder or a VHS recorder or anything like that back then that I wish I did, because I'm sure there's just I can tell you the cliff notes of a story, but like the hard facts have slowly faded away over the 40 years now and everything like
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Between bad life choices and bong hits, sometimes stuff fades. It just happens.
You're just making
But
you're just making new stories doing that.
yeah, but keeping the great traditions, especially the great American tradition of storytelling. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, John Henry, Paul Bunyan, Davy Crockett, Daniel Boone. The America was built on stories, where a lot of them stretched and tall told stories and bullshit. Oh yeah, but like it, kernel of truth to
There's
every
always
good
some truth
story.
in the bullshit.
Yeah,
You
but
know.
just keeping stories alive, keeping a record of the things that make this state unique. Uh, like me and Alex sometimes, we like we said we did a whole two-part episode on Appalachia just because there's so much, and we touch on Bigfoot. We didn't touch on giants that time. We did talk about feral people down near the Kentucky and Tennessee area where some kids went missing and stuff like that. Um, but like just trying to keep stories and the history of this state alive, because Virginia at one point went all the way to the Mississippi. The original Virginia territory was like America. Like
Yeah.
the America is Virginia. And uh and then it whittled down, and then it whittled down, and then it was like Virginia and West Virginia, and then split over that as well. Um but it's just trying to keep history alive. I'm a huge history junkie. History Channel stays on one form or another almost 24/7, and then I'm always watching that, even if I'm just doing something, working on background, working on stories for the podcast that me and Alex are trying to get things re-rolling back with them. Just lots of craziness that's happened since the holidays and everything, and some stuff going on in me and Alex's lives that we've got new episodes recorded. We just have to finish getting them edited and uploaded. And so I know it's been like 2 months since we've done a full episode, guys, but we're working on it. It's just life's been just the house I've been renting
Sometimes
sold, and like Alex had some things going on with just like having enough free time to be able to do it, because he's the audio engineer. You listen to one of our episodes, the audio is normally amazing unless I'm on a really bad headset or something like that and I have to be here instead of in the studio. But like he's an amazing audio engineer that does like music mixing and stuff like that for musicians as well, so the audio is always great. But then if he's swamped, I I'm like a monkey trying to figure out a torque wrench. I don't know about how to do audio engineering. Unfortunately, it's something I want to learn. But if he gets jammed up, then we don't have episodes to upload, and so we've just been a little jammed up. But we'll get things going back here soon.
Well, I mean, I appreciate what you guys do, because there's a lot of stories that get kind of lost in the shuffle. And, like you said, through the years, people forget about them. And, with everything being so fast paced, it's easy to lose track of that kind of stuff. And that's why I enjoy having people like you and Alex come on the show, and different, we had John Pagano from Henricus Park come on the show and just talk about like stuff that people don't think about when it comes to Virginia, and being able to share these stories with everyone. And, maybe someone didn't know about the Giants in Winchester, and now they'll go look it up. And, it's very cool that we're able to share these stories. And I've got a bunch of other stuff I was going to talk to you about, but I am going to wait to do that, because I want to talk about aliens. I want to talk about Bigfoot some more.
Oh, I love talking about
we'll go down the rabbit hole. We'll be here until like freaking 1 o'clock in the morning. And I want Sarah and Rhonda to join me on this trip we're about to go on. Okay. So I'm gonna cut it off right now. We're going to just, we'll do a part 3.
Oh yeah, anytime. I love hanging out with you guys.
And I definitely appreciate it. We'll we love having you on, and probably get you guys back on in the fall. Maybe do a special in October.
Sure.
And we'll should I take Toke? Yes. I was like, should you take what? What are you talking about? I mean, we should all Toke.
Dude,
that would be does Bill have an email address?
Here, can I private message him, or is it going to just
go ahead. He's going to message you, John.
Well, I was trying to, but when I click on the chat, it doesn't give me the option to private chat with him.
Maybe if you look him up on Facebook.
All right, I'm going to try to copy his name here. Cool, copy. All right,
he's in charge. He does the the Virginia Paranormal Events page on Facebook. He's really cool. He helps us advertise when we have paranormal investigations around the area.
Oh my gosh. All right. So, hey, John, please hit me up on Facebook, Bill space DELGALLO. Oh, yeah. The way it's listed on my name there. Duh. Because there's 5 million John Stevens and there's one Bill Gallo. So, yeah. And I just don't see you. But yeah, no, please hit me up. I did click his name, sir, but just nothing happened. I don't know. Technology hates me sometimes. It's giving me the option to highlight his name, but not private chat.
I'm clicking his name and just says delete comment or block user, which don't really want to do. So
yeah, it's okay. But no, John, please hit me up.
If nothing else, send a message to Odd Virginia on Facebook, and you'll get it eventually. You'll get
we're also on Instagram at just like it shows beside my name, at odd.virginia on Instagram as well. So what either way, I'm the social media guy for Odd Virginia, and then sometimes co-host and then content creator as well. I'm a man of many hats. Alex is the mad genius though. The poor guy, he works like 5 12-hour days a week at a larger warehouse setting stuff. So the poor guy probably just passed the crap out and is asleep. But that boy deserves all the sleep he can get because he works hard. They keep money flowing for they keep the streaming and everything like that going. So it's all good. But no, please hit me up. One quick thing you guys should check out, and anyone that likes your podcast should check out. In June is the East Coast Bigfoot Organization Bigfoot Convention in Weirs Cave, Virginia. You guys want to see something cool, go check that out. They have a lot of Daniel Benoit, and I'm trying to pull up the Bigfoot Con is going to be this year. The exact dates in June are June 14th and 15th in Weirs Cave, Virginia. And it's always a good show. It's always going to be a good time. If any of you guys roll out there, I'm sure I'm going to be out there. We're not going to have a booth or anything, but I'm sure we're going to be out there Saturday, the 14th. Hit me up on Facebook, whatever. I'd love to get together with any of you guys if anyone wants to show up. But just a fun little adventure to hear some people talk, hear people share their experiences and stuff like that, and just learn more about cryptids and Virginia in general.
Sounds good, man. Well, yeah, definitely. If you're in the area, if you want to check out the Bigfoot Con or the ECBRO, the East Coast Bigfoot
East Coast
Research-
Bigfoot Research Organization. Yep. It's going to be June 14th through 15th.
We've got the tentative Wraith Chasers coming out. The Haunted Nights is doing an event at the Cabin on 360 that weekend. It's a
darn
2-night
it.
event.
Man, we still need to get together. I need to come out. I want to check out that cabin bad because I know we've talked offline and online about it, but that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I want to check that out too.
We'd love
next time
to have you out.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll get you out
I guess
there.
we'll have to catch the next one because I'm definitely going to be at the Bigfoot one because Dan's a good guy. He actually did an episode with us. If you guys want to hear, dude, that guy's forgotten more stuff about Bigfoot, Sasquatch, whatever you want to call him, than I'll ever know. That guy's just a wealth of knowledge. He's really funny guy too. He can be a little bit hard nosed. He doesn't have a lot of tolerance for people trying to pull wool over people's eyes, and so sometimes he gets a little salty and has rubbed some people the wrong way. But that guy is just a wealth of knowledge. He's such a great guy.
I listened to that episode the other day. Actually, it was really good. You guys did a good job,
dude. It's easy when it was something like that. I felt so bad because if you listen, it's just me and Alex are just yeah, wow, awesome, cool. Because he's just
yeah,
telling so much.
It's easy when you don't have to talk much. Just okay, that's cool. Oh, nice.
And then
that's
finally he was just oh, do you guys have any questions? Alex is Bill has questions. I was boy, howdy do I? I've been waiting for this for a while, and just start talking to him and got a bunch of questions. And at the end, and his thoughts and theories on some stuff. But super great guy. And we got a ton of Bigfoot episodes on the Odd Virginia podcast on YouTube. You can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Google Podcasts for the next 3 days until that dies because Google Podcast is going away, RIP. But pretty much anywhere you can think of. Our podcast, our audio. So you can most people watch it on YouTube. We have a fairly good following on Spotify also. Please like and subscribe, both, comment, all that good stuff. But the core of our group is on YouTube, and that's where all of our shows are.
Well, guys, definitely go check them out on YouTube. Check them out on Instagram, Odd Virginia. We'll have you guys back here in a few months. I appreciate you coming on and joining us tonight. Hope Alex is doing well. And tell him we missed him tonight. And of course, we missed Sarah and Rhonda.
Yeah, get better, guys. Everyone,
yes.
I loved hanging out with all of y'all last time. I can't wait to hang out with you guys again.
Definitely. Well, man, I appreciate it. You have a good night.
All right. Hey, you too. Hey, thanks for watching, everyone. And Ryan, always a pleasure, brother. Thank you so much.
Oh, man, appreciate you, man. We'll take care.
All right, you too. Bye.
Bye. Well, that was fun. It was a fun conversation. I didn't know we were talking about giants, but it's cool how we have you have an idea, but that goes in a completely different direction, and you never know which way the show is going to go until you start talking, and then have a fun conversation. So, what I do? Yeah, okay. So why does he keep saying Ryan C. Jones? Forgot to take it off. So we miss you too, Sarah. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sarah, of course. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. John, Sarah, Howie, Ed, as he's known to some people. Tea Time with Tiffany. Thank you for watching. Thank you, Bill. Thank you, Chris, for watching. Really appreciate it. Next week we've got Haunted Night promotions coming on the show. Lyle and Tana and Brandon. Super excited to be chatting with them. Hopefully we'll be back at full strength next week. Haunted Nights is going to be coming out to the cabin on 360. Thanks, John. The 14th and 15th of June for a big event they're having out there. And super excited to talk to them again. Lyle and Tana are great people. They were just on the Orion Effect this past weekend with Howie and Rhonda, and they had a really good show. So it's going to be a lot of fun talking to them. So very excited to see them next week. And again, if you're near Belle Grove Plantation in Virginia, go check out the Sage Paracon. If you're around here this weekend, we're having the flag placing at Evergreen and Woodland Cemeteries starting at 9:00 on Saturday. So, guys, I'm getting tired. You ever get tired that you start spacing out? I totally spaced out there for a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this lovely conversation we're having, and I will see you back here next week with Haunted Nights Paranormal. Same freaking awesome time, same freaking awesome channel. Good night, guys.